Okay. Thank you for returning. Now I would like to introduce Experis.
Yeah.
And Experis will tell us all there is to know about LinkedIn.
Yeah, that's right.
Thank you.
Hi, everyone. We're very happy to be here today. We are going to talk to you about LinkedIn and how you can market your brand. And my name is Ellen, and I work as a researcher at Experis IT here in Växjö. And Experis IT is working with consulting and recruitment processes within the IT business. So IT competences is our core business. And here in Växjö, we are a part of what we call the South region, which means that we're working a lot together with both Blekinge and Skåne. And we have a big variety when it comes to our different clients and different assignments. And I am currently working with finding the right competences to our clients' assignments through search, selections, interviews, and presentations. And because of that, I am reading CVs and I am looking into LinkedIn profiles every day. So hopefully I will be able to give you some good tips and tricks here today and help you create a more attractive LinkedIn profile.
Hi everybody, my name is Edina, also working for Experis, but in Karlskrona. And one of my main tasks is, as a consultant manager, is to make sure that the consultants that are working for me, mostly at Ericsson, gets the challenges and the growth with their tasks and the assignments as much as they can. So I work very closely with Ellen here when it comes to finding candidates in the whole region, in the whole South region. And the way it works is that clients, customers, existing or brand new ones contact us. We go through what they are looking for, and after that, we start searching. So
yeah, so
the next So the next 20 minutes, we will guide you through why you should have a LinkedIn profile, how it should look, and also show you some profiles and comment them, of course. We will show you how we work, what kind of keywords we use, and of course give you some all-over tips regarding to marketing your brand.
Yeah, so first of all, what is LinkedIn? LinkedIn is the world's largest professional network with over 500 million members. And you can say that it's a business and employment-orientated social network. And it's like a combination between Facebook and Twitter, but it has a professional touch on it. So it gives you the opportunity to communicate with colleagues, classmates, teachers, and also future employers. And so why should you have LinkedIn then? As we said, this is a new way of marketing yourself and your knowledge. It's a way of showing people what you know. You can say that it's like an online resume open for everyone to see. And LinkedIn is the new way of being discovered today, because recruiters and employers are today using new strategies. They are today not posting any ads in newspapers or so on. They're instead using LinkedIn as their main tool when finding talents. So instead, they're posting their job opportunities on LinkedIn, which means that if you're not a part of this network, you might be missing out on a lot of interesting job opportunities, and your chances of being discovered will also be a lot less. And as you can see here on these pictures, what do members do on LinkedIn? They get the right job, build meaningful relationships, and they stay well informed. So for everyone who doesn't have a LinkedIn profile today or who has an unupdated profile, we're going to help you. And we're going to go through the different subcategories that are included in a profile. And first of all, what we have to tell you that all of the information you have in your profile has to be relevant and updated. Otherwise, employers won't get a realistic picture of who you are and what you have done. And the first category here, or subcategory you can see, is a suitable picture. And this is for me pretty obvious, and the same goes with your CV. And I won't tell you more about what I think is a suitable picture, because hopefully you know that by now. But what I can tell you is that members who do have a picture in their profile, they get up to 9 times more connection requests, 21 times more profile views, and 36 times more messages. So those are some good reasons why you should have a suitable picture. And the next part of a profile is the summary or the background. And here you should write a little bit about who you are, what you're currently doing, and what your strongest assets are. Your summary should be at least 40 words. And here you can also state, for example, what you want to do after your graduation. So for example, if you want to work as a front-end developer when you graduate and you have taken classes in, for example, JavaScript, then that's perfect. Write that in your summary. But also bear in mind that your summary shouldn't be too long, because the reader wants to get a quick understanding of who you are before they continue reading more in your profile. And another good thing to have in your summary is that if you, for example, are open to relocate after your graduation, then it's good to write the different location you're interested in moving to, so that the recruiter can get a quick understanding of that. The next part is your experiences. And here you should write your former jobs. And what you can think of here is what title you choose to write. Because some people might call it front-end developer, some might call it web developer. And if you think that both of those titles reflects what you're doing, then I would recommend you to write both of them. And also a recommendation is to write a couple of general sentences about your job. So for example, maybe what responsibilities you have, what programs you're using, and what techniques you're using. And here you can actually also post your former summer jobs or extra jobs, because even if they're not IT related, they might still be of an interest for recruiters, because it still shows that you actually have had a job, you have taken responsibility, you know the weight of being on time, and above that you might also have some good references to contact. And as you can see in this profile example here, he has written both IT manager and CIO, so both 2 titles. He also has a couple of sentences about his job. And on the first one on the top there, you can see that he also has 2 recommendations. And we're going to get back to that later. Next part is courses. And here is a recommendation to add all of your courses that are included in your education. Because even if it's clear for you what courses you are studying, it might not be clear for the reader what courses that are included in a specific education. And even, for example, if you haven't worked with JavaScript, you might have taken classes in it, and that can be interesting for a recruiter. And here you can also, of course, add if you have taken any courses outside of school, maybe like a leadership course or so. And then come languages. And here you can see in this profile, he has only written English, which might be confusing. So our recommendation is to write all of the languages you know, but also state what level you're on. So for example, if you're a beginner or if you're fluent in a specific language. The more clear you are, the easier it gets. Then comes projects. So if you have been a part of any specific project during your time here in school, or maybe on a former job or something like that, then you should add that here. All of the projects that might be of an interest for a recruiter should be added. So for example, I know that Kollektivet started here at Linnaeus University by some students. That's a great project to put in your LinkedIn profile if you're a part of that. And another good project you can put here is your X job that you will write during your last year. So maybe your thesis, write a couple of sentences about it, and maybe add the company you're writing it together with. And here comes certificates. So this person has a lot of certificates. This is not normally how it looks like. But if you do have any certificates from school or outside of school that might matter, then you should add them. It can, for example, be an ITIL certificate, or maybe a Cisco like CCNA or CCNP. Everything that might matter, you should put in there. And next up is your education. So here we recommend you to write the university, the education, and also what year you will graduate. And another recommendation here is to write a couple of sentences about the education and add what major you're having. And here you can also add your high school education. Since you're newly graduated, it can be good to have that in your profile as well. Next part is recommendations, which I told you to come back to. And here, former employers, classmates, colleagues, teachers can write recommendations about you. And if you write them a recommendation, it's most likely that they will write a recommendation back to you. And it's always good to have people who can verify your competencies. And this doesn't have to be technical skills. It can also be a recommendation about who you are as a person and those things. So that's a good recommendation to start write recommendations about people around you, and they will probably write back. And here's the last part that we see in a LinkedIn profile. It's groups, following companies, and skills and expertise. And it's actually, when employers and recruiters are looking for talents, they might actually take a look into what groups you're included in, because this can indicate a big interest. So this person here, for example, he is a part of many .NET groups. So that probably indicates that he has a big interest in that technique. The same goes with following companies. If you already now know that there is a specific company or a specific employer you want to work for in the future, then start with following them on LinkedIn as a first step. Because if they are finding you on LinkedIn and you're not a company follower, that might not be too good. And the last part is skills and expertise. And I would actually say that this is the absolute most important part of your profile. Because here you can add your skills and expertise, and the reader will in just a second get a very quick understanding of what you know or what you have studied. So the recommendation here is to write at least 5 skills. It can be both soft skills and technical skills. This will make it a lot easier for the recruiters, and it's actually shown, like you can see here, that members with 5 or more skills are found up to 27 times more by recruiters via search. So because of that, we thought that we will show you how a search works when we are looking for talents on LinkedIn. So my colleague Idina is going to tell you more about that.
So, showing how it works. We work a lot with the keywords. So if we pick up where I left off, when we meet a customer, we talk about soft skills and technical skills. And the technical skills and the hard skills is the facts. We want to know what kind of education do you have? What kind of title have you earned through experience or education? Are you a front-end developer, back-end developer, UX designer? What can we call you? And then we also, of course, want to know what have you experienced more than the title? What have you worked with? Have you worked with Java? Have you worked with JavaScript, C#, or studied, of course? That goes fine as well. Have you worked with, what kind of programming languages do you know and would be able to develop at a company? Then, of course, it's also interesting if you have had, maybe you've been a Scrum Master or team leader or project manager, but that comes, of course, later on in your experience. So those 3, I would say. What kind of title do you have? Have you some other responsibilities as a team leader, and what kind of technical skills? That's what we are looking for. So and the soft skills that we are talking about, those stuff is the stuff that we try to get an understanding for during your interview. Are you flexible? Do you have leadership potential? Do you where do you want to grow? Which way do you want to go? So these words are specific, easy words for us to find you. So if you don't have any of these words, we won't find you, because we don't. It's harder to find you in other words. So this is how it looks when we start a search. Here we are looking for a Java developer. So we have put in, as Ellen told you, we have put in both programmer and developer, Java developer. We could also maybe only go with Java, system developer. And we have also the ability to take it geographically. And here we have put in Växjö and Kronobergs region. And then we have the skills once more. Java, Git, Agile methodology. We could also, as you can see further down, we can also take the search to a different level where we can put in schools or maybe jobs that or companies where you should have been working if you know this kind of skills that we are looking for. So here comes some profiles on the right side, you can see. So we have 314 candidates that were a match on this search. And 18 of them had mentioned in their profile, announced that they are open for new opportunities, new challenges. So a tip is to be very loud and clear about what you want to do. Are you looking for a job or not? Because these 18 people are the first people we will contact instead of contacting all the 300 rest or who's not interested. And here you can see now we have clicked in a profile that matches our search. And you can see that everything that we have looked for, that we printed in the search, is highlighted. So it's very easy. It takes seconds before you see if this is the right kind of person we are looking for or not. It's a Java developer. He lives in Växjö, it seems. He's at the moment working in Växjö as a Java developer. So this is what we are looking for. And then we go further down in his profile, and you can see that he also has mentioned Git in his skills, which is good. That was what we were looking for. And he have mentioned some other programming languages, which could be interesting because then we can see that this person probably have a broad understanding for programming and IT development in whole. So it would be maybe a person that the company could have in different positions and have maybe an even broader role. Sometimes, even though we are looking for a Java developer, it's always appreciated if you understand when you will be working with a front-end developer, how you two talk. So that's, of course, a plus. And on the other picture here to the right, you can see that we can also adapt the searches after graduation year. So that's why it's so important for you to write the actually graduation years, because if we are looking for a senior developer, for example, we would probably put in a graduation year that's 10 or 20 years from now. And then we would guess that you've been working in this field for at least 15 years. But if we are looking for a junior competence, newly graduate, then we would put do as in the example and put 2015 till 2019 or something similar. And it's to be a newly graduate, to be new in the IT field or looking for a job, that's a nice market today too. So you don't have to, boost your LinkedIn profiles with everything that's maybe not so true, because when you actually will get the job, it will be noticed quickly because there's so many of you. So it's so important for you guys to really show where you can do a good job, really show the companies that I can do this, because there's so many people studying IT today. It's a lot of candidates. So how to market your brand? GitHub is a great place to be seen. Besides LinkedIn, we go through all these sites, of course. Keep it updated, and GitHub is somewhere you can you probably know about it. You can put out your code there, and it doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be so thought through all the time. But it shows us that you actually have an interest in doing this, not only because you have studied it and you think it's a good place in field to work within. It also shows us that you're doers, that you're actively seeking this kind of challenges also on your spare time, not only for the money. And when you do something that you love, then it will be easier for you to do it good. So that shows us that you actually, that wouldn't be a thing that makes you more interesting for me or Ellen than any other candidate who's just wrote that he's been studying. And the same goes for all these websites. If you have a own website and you are a UX designer or a web developer, that's of course very interesting to see that you actually engage in your spare time in these kind of activities. Or and these stuff, the GitHub account or a website, you can also put in your LinkedIn profile as a portfolio or as something like that. Further on, we recommend you to be very active in different job sites, all from Experis to Indeed, Monster. Be active, show yourself, update your CVs, update the information, especially the contact information, but because usually your contact information isn't shown in LinkedIn if you haven't specifically required that to be seen. So then we can't call you, or if you have an old number. And that will also show you that show us that you actually are eager and interested and taking you're taking your future into your own hands, and that is also that makes you stand out from the crowd when it comes to a company. It's always that what they are looking for, the soft skills. So you can see here, you can see that this person is ambitious, this person really wants it, this person is prepared with questions. So the more you ask, the more interested you are. That's what makes you special when everybody here in this room would be applying for the same job. Did I miss anything?
I don't think so. So this, of course, might sound boring to you to create all these things, CVs, profiles on different websites. So we thought that we could help you this afternoon with at least your LinkedIn profile. So if you have a profile, then you can come to us this afternoon and we will help you to make it more attractive. And if you do not have a profile, then create one during the lunch break and then come to us this afternoon. And we will give you some tips and tricks. So we'll have one room for English speaking and one room for Swedish, just to make it easier and faster. And if you have any questions later on, we will be outside here, so you can just ask us if there's anything that you think is unclear. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. And I think there's actually a connection to make between this and what we heard Velf talking about earlier as well. Because as new students or finished students and looking for your first job, you will see a little bit of the problem that you don't have previous experience, because most of the employers are actually looking for people with previous experience. So that is one other reason for you to actually emphasize and find a good thesis, preferably together with a company, because that is an easy way to get into a company and to get some experience and hopefully also to be employed by this company.